Hi,
We're live again.
live again in a different setting again.
You're like jumping about in different locations all
Yeah,
the
different
time.
setting, and we also haven't got the title of what it is this week, Ash.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have okay.
Yeah, I got it there. I know what I'm doing. Don't you
Well,
tell me what I like as if you don't
this is
know.
not my first rodeo.
No. This is sorry. I also have to say quickly before we go into what we're actually going to talk about, which they've just shown, which is group photos. Your extension, because obviously we keep talking about it through this, is ridiculously impressive. That
Thank you.
that glass on the top.
I know
Wow.
the biggest. It's the biggest they've ever done. They said, not like me to want the biggest of anything.
Like I was
Literally, what's your expectations? The biggest, give me the biggest. And he was like, it's my friend's dad who's doing it. And he was like, right, okay. And then when they put it in, they managed to get it in 6 panes, where normally I think it's 8. And he was like, wow, you can literally see everything. We've got that big oak tree in the back. And like, I come from Nout. I don't want anyone to think that I was literally like that. I come from nothing and I've grafted my ass off for everything I've got. So this house, I said to Keo, like, this house is one thing I will not scrimp on, because I've scrimped all my life to save everything I've worked. I've always saved to the next thing, to the next thing. And this house is going to be where I'm like, no, I want this. No, yes, I do want the built-in speakers and I do want the surround sound action. And, oh, yeah, can I have a sauna? I'm going to put the sauna in. And Keo's like, Karla, like, we haven't got the money.
Sauna's amazing, by the way.
Like, yeah, no, but we'll find it. It's fine. It's all right. We'll sort it. And he's like, Keo's the opposite to me. Like, loves, like, he has to take a week to decide something. I'm like booking it there and then and doing it. So, yeah, the house is going to be absolutely outstanding. But I used to feel uncomfortable about saying how outstanding the house is. I didn't want people to think I was bragging or being like, look what I've got. But now I just think at the end of the day, I've worked my ass off for it. No one's handed me it, and I'm proud of it, because that literally, them pieces of glass represent how hard I've worked.
It was very impressive. Like when I saw, like, I obviously used to be an estate agent, and we used to sell quite nice houses, really big houses down here in down south in near like Hertfordshire, and even I was like, wow. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I don't have a big house. Like it's one of those. I don't walk into my house going wow, but I have seen very wow houses and sold them. And I remember even that, I thought this is amazing. As you say, you just gotta, as you say, if you're gonna keep adding these things in, you just got to work harder. You got to have a little bit of a leaf out of. I know you were on a podcast recently, Lisa Rawn, one of my clients. I know you were chatting with Lisa recently, but she's like the Midas touch. Everything she touches turns to gold. Like she literally just makes money by just doing things. So like, if you ever need any help, you just chat Lisa and say, look, how do I afford my sauna? And trust me, she'll find ways.
Honestly, like it's, thank God it's my best friend's dad who's doing it, because I think another builder would have had a heart attack by now, because everything I'm like this morning, he was like, obviously it's the whole house is getting done, and he was like, right, what about this? And I was like, I think I want to do this now, like I'm completely 360. And he was like, okay, Karla, you've already said you didn't want that. I was like, I know, but I've changed my mind now. And he's like, okay, then we'll just get the plans rearranged. Like honestly, because it's sometimes it's hard to, like, I used to be a kitchen designer, so I can actually, I'm quite good with vision, and I'm
So
really
you're
good with, like,
basically a builder, isn't it? You know, you're basically a doctor. You're basically an architect, really, because you're a kitchen designer.
Yeah. So like I just sit there and I'm like, I can see it, and then when it starts happening, I'm like, oh, actually, I don't think that looks
You're
right.
that person. Just on that, you know, when someone comes into your office or like, and you go, "Do you know I used to work in insurance?" And they work in like car insurance or something, and then they talk to you, and you're like, "Please just shut up and just let me get on with my job."
Oh, and I had that the other day, that somebody was saying, oh yeah, I used to do, because I used to do car insurance years ago. They're like, car insurance. I've worked in insurance. It's like, oh, what did you do? And they started telling me. I was like, no, like no one
Different
gets what
thing.
insurance is, like what the insurance that we do is, me, what I do. So yeah, but flowing on to I want to talk today about the group photos, because I was so buzzing with them,
They
like,
look great.
shout out to Yellow Box and Dan. Oh yeah, Dan does all that, but Dan didn't do that. Brad and Matthew, oh my god, Matthew is amazing, and patience of a saint. Like, I'm starting to realise that there's a trend that most people in my life have to have a lot of patience. And he definitely, like, by the end of it, he was, you know, like when you can see someone's like sweating and like they're rubbing their head, like, okay, like, you know, like he had to like muster everything he had to like put it out. And we went to do this. Obviously, it's the first ever group photo or group thing I've ever done. All the advisors are ready to start, you know, advising and getting going. And I was like, right, we need to get new images, headshots, group photos, do the video that we did, which I also absolutely loved. I thought it was
Video's
brilliant.
great.
I did
The
love
video
that.
is awesome. I said my wife, I got a text on WhatsApp, like just literally like the weekend, like I was in here doing some work and she just put, just seen Karla's video. It looked awesome. And I was like, I just went, oh, cool. And I'd actually sent a message saying, it's the weekend. I will watch it on Monday.
No, like, honestly, I said to Matthew and Brad, like, Yellow Box, who did it, I can't believe how many people actually took an interest in that video, you know, because normally...
Very rare as well, because those type of videos are normally boring as sin, like as in like people don't watch them normally.
Yeah, like company ones especially.
Yeah.
That's what I always went, it like sort of went against everything I've ever said.
Do you know what? Just on the, do you know what Freddie said it reminded her of? She said it reminded her of like an advert for the Kardashians. That's what she said. She said it reminded her of like an advert for like the Kardashians, or, you know, those like Real Housewife things. Like she said, like it looked like a TV advert, like, and that kind of like, that's what she said. She said that's the vibes I was getting. I don't know if that's the vibes you were after, but she said it looked really like very different to anything else that I'd seen.
Yeah, I that's what I wanted. Like, I really wanted it to be not your typical insurance, like, this is, you know, this is the team, look, meet the team. I wanted it to be, that's why I said at the end, put the bloopers in. Like, they were going to give me the bloopers separate. I went, no, put them in. I want them to see that was normal, like that. It was, we mess up, we had, you know, we were saying shit, we were like in having issues. Like at one point, they're like, because it was the 6 weeks holidays, at one point the whole of someone's massive family are outside the window where we're filming, and one of them was going, Billy, and I looked at him and I was about to start talking. I looked at Matthew and I went, well, I can't talk, can I, when he's shouting Billy? And that's what he put in the thing. And he said at the end, I said to him, like when I looked at it, I was like, I absolutely love it, it's unreal. And I said, is there any more bloopers? He went, well, every other blooper apart from the ballet is you swearing. And I went, yeah,
I would imagine you don't want that in there, do you?
I was like, oh, for God's sake. And he went, well, it's you. And I was like, yeah, because that's as soon as I mess up, I go, oh shit. Oh,
you need a little beep. Like I love a good, like I just did a rant on Instagram and it beeps it out for you if you put the captions.
Ash, it beep, 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 beep.
Well, that was I did this thing about networks literally today about someone saying you couldn't post social media, and I'm like, well, this is beep, burp, 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 and I watched it back and I was like, it looks so good with the beats, because then people are going and it blurs out the word and everything. So like it literally is. People are like, ooh.
Lord, to them, I'm terrible for it, me. I really am. But yeah,
you are bad. I remember saying with this though, you got to make sure you don't do too much.
I don't have to really try on this, and it's hard. So, but because Chloe had just surprised me that same day,
but we spoke about before,
yeah, and she come in, and then I was like, right, okay, I've got to, you know, I've hired to get this done. I need to get this finished. All the girls are here. I had to do it. I went upstairs. I was shaken. I'd had to have a glass of wine, and then by that, I was like, because they'd been waiting for me, and they were nervous as hell. They'd ordered a drink. So 2 hours.
We're all very relaxed.
We're all mortal. Literally, I'm half gone. Half gone on that video. I'm going to get that written in our contract that we can't use that button. But yeah, I was not paralytic. I was drunk. Like,
yeah, well, it goes to your head, because if you've not really eaten, and then your adrenaline's going because of Chloe, and then all the other stuff, you're literally that's gonna hit like hard.
I tell you what, though, I nailed it. Only took 2 shots of that video. It's
funny how a bit of Drake, but I tell you what, too much and it tips. There is a line where you're like, I'm really confident, and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I don't know about that one.
No, so that's what we're going to talk about. So the line was when we started doing the group photos, which was after. So picture this. So we've done the video, everyone's buzzing, everyone's a lot more relaxed now, feeling more human and comfortable because we've done the video, which is the worst part. Right, let's get some photos. And I'm genuinely thinking, right, we need photos for the website, photos to announce the area. We'll be sat around a desk, or we'll be stood talking, or we might go outside for a walk, something like that. No. Karla, who's had a couple of wines, thinks it's a good idea to do the Friends reincarnate, the reenaction of Friends, the Kim K, the Kylie Jenner with the Kardashians under her, the pick me up like I'm getting married. And literally when I said that, Matthew looked at me and went, what? I went, like like a bride, like carry me like I'm a bride. And he's like, but you're not getting married. And I was like, I know, but it'll be funny. And he's like, okay, like I'll just whatever. Like at this point, you do in my head, and I'll just do it. And then we were on the stairs. Like I haven't put all of them up. One of them were on the stairs, and he's above us, and we're all looking up at him. And then another one, we're all looking down at him. And honestly, like, but the worst of it is, like after, like when I got them back and I was looking through him, I messaged him saying I'm crying, laughing. He went, why is it? Because I can't believe that all like this. Like the ladies were just doing it. Like
just keep going forward. They're not even bothered.
Picking me up. But what? Pick up like a bride. All right, okay. Picking me up. Then when we were sat down, I was laid across them like this. Like there's one of the photos where I'm laid like this and like this at them. And they're all just going along with the worst of it is. It wasn't even like I was just the only nutter. They were worse. They were not saying yet. But I'm so happy that we did it like that because like I've been actually Claire from AIG, shout out to Claire, who is absolutely unbelievable, amazing BDM and such a lovely woman. She like has been a massive supporter like from over the last 2 years. And I'd put like some of the headshots out that I'd got, you know, like when I was doing a post, I'd put a couple of the headshots and they were more serious. And then she'd seen the video and she said, she messaged me saying, I was getting really worried that you were going because you took on staff, you were going a bit more corporate, like a bit more, you know, smart and professional. She said, not that you're not professional, but I just love how different you are and how just you are what you are. And I was like, oh, no. I said, you wait, love. You wait till the group photos get posted. And then when the group photos got posted, she messaged me and was like, I love it. Thank God. And I was like, I needed to, I suppose like my main thing was when I seen them, and we did have some normal photos, like there's a couple where I'm stood with them and it looks half human, not like we're taking the piss. And I thought, do you know what? I don't want to use them because that's what everybody else had used. And the fact that we were having a laugh, we were having a couple of drinks because we were nervous, it was the first time we'd all been together. And the fact that we were all smiling and laughing, I thought, that's the best bit. Like that is the best bit. And that's what I say all the time, but that's the bit that makes you relatable to a customer. That's the bit that makes people feel comfortable and makes them feel at ease when they're telling you that they used to take cocaine or that they've had an STD, whatever it might be. If you're talking to someone who is very prim and proper and, you know, might not come across like they have much of a personality because they're trying to be too professional, then it can be a lot more daunting and you feel, I know, even just speaking from experience, I know myself, the difference you feel when you're talking to someone who makes you feel like you're talking to a friend as opposed to someone who's like, okay, huge. So this. And I just thought, that's it. Like when I seen it, I was like, that is literally it. This is the line between personality and professionalism, like, and that's it there.
I think the professionalism as well, I love, and they are wonderful photos, and the whole thing is really good. And I think that's the issue of professionalism. Is professionalism means you're good at your job. Doesn't mean that it's not the way you dress or look or hold yourself. It's that you are good.
Don't know. I bet you 90% of LinkedIn would disagree.
Oh, they will disagree, but I don't care because like I'm getting more and more getting a lot of hate for that. So we're going, no, that's bollocks, and that's what this is. But I don't think, professionalism is not what you... In fact, there are so many examples of this where there's a great mortgage advisor guy that I know. I forgot his name is Graham. But he did this, and he was talking about this where he has they wear he looks like Tintin. And, and it's... I can't remember the name because this is an industry one. They'll know. Someone will in the comments says, Graham, it's this guy. But I had him on my show, and he was like, all of my people I work with are CEOs. And he said, because they don't take themselves too seriously, because they spend their entire lives with serious people and they just want real people. And that's why you've done really well, because you're real, and why your girls are going to do really well, and why everything's doing about your photos, because people buy from people. It's just real. And too many people, if I get, this is John Smith from ABC Mortgages in a suit and tie, I just want to literally I'm just like, next. It's the dullest thing. Give me a guy give me a guy or a girl walking down the street holding an Argos package going, yeah, this is what we've done today. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in, because they're real.
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to show. And I want not even just for customers or for like the way it looks, because everything at the end of the day, everything on social media is in the perception of who's viewing it. So there'll be some people looking at it saying that's ridiculous. There'll be some people looking at it saying that's class.
The stuff that people can draw from a post blows my mind. Like the amount of comments. You probably, where someone will comment something, I'm like, I don't even know how you even got to that conclusion from looking at that video or that photo. Like, I didn't even mention it.
Everyone's different, aren't they? And everyone's minds work in very different ways. But ultimately, what I want to try and do, especially with my new ladies, is like, I want them to be comfortable. And like, this was the first time we were all together. So I was sat there and I was thinking, like, when they were like, oh, can we order another drink? I was like, yeah, of course you can. Get, like, whatever.
Bottle of champagne.
We do that. Like, they keep saying, like, obviously social media is massive, like huge. And it's so daunting when you first start out. And when like I sent them over, I was like, how class are these? They were like, oh my God, are you going to use them on socials? I was like, yes, they're going to be all over everywhere. Like, they're amazing.
Plastered on the wall in your office.
Yeah, because I want them to know that them being them is literally enough. That's it. Like the professionalism in terms of how good you are at your job, how much you know your products. With all due respect, without sounding harsh, if I didn't think they were good enough to do that, they wouldn't be working under my business. 100%. But I know that part's already done. I want them to feel comfortable in being who they are, to talk to people the way they talk to people, to do the post the way they would do it, not the way I would do it. Like Heidi, and obviously we need to talk about the fact that Heidi wasn't there. And another BDM actually said to me from AIG, Dan, who I love and miss dearly, he messaged me saying, wow, as if Heidi is going to be working on the protection parent. That is amazing. And I was like, it's basically like,
oh, she's you. That's like if you're in a football team, that's signing a big old player. Heidi is.
That's it. It's Man U signing Ronaldo.
Oh my God, it is. Like, it really is.
She's absolutely. Do you know what it is though, Ash? It's not that. I love her as a person. Like nothing else. Not about
I agree.
Her like following or the fact that like she's well known. Nothing to do with that. I absolutely love her, and I love how fresh she is, and I love how. Honestly, the post, anyone who's got Heidi in Instagram.
The one yesterday or a couple of days, was she's shooting the gun and she's like, whoa, and I'm like, what? When I worked with Heidi, she worked with me when my wife was pregnant, and she was actually on the call. I remember we had a session when she went into labor. I remember that. And Heidi, like, because we had some complications at the end, she is just like, she's an inspiration even to that like day. I remember she was just like, don't worry about this, do this, do that. She was awesome. And I actually said, I've been quite, I've been quite ill this last 9 months, and it's people like Heidi. It's not people, it is Heidi. It's Heidi and one of the person. And I'm like, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how ill you feel, there is somebody out there who's literally running rings around something.
Yeah.
That is, and she's an incredible human being. And to have her on your team is like, and I mean, I know you say she wasn't there, and the level. I mean, in some ways, you're probably glad. I'm probably good she wasn't, because what you think that would have been like after, because she's absolutely crazy.
She's off it, honestly. I said
you wouldn't have just been doing those things. It would have been a lot more alcohol and a lot more, a lot crazier,
a lot more wild and all that. Yeah. Like, a lot more wild. I said she's coming up in September. We've got an awards and we've got a team like meal thing, and she's coming up, and I can't wait for everyone to meet. So obviously the team I have are absolutely insane. They're all amazing and really good at what they're doing in terms of for themselves. But Heidi is like, I've known her a lot of years, and I've known her on a different level. Like I was never knowing her hoping that she'd work for me. I was knowing her because I was inspired by her, because I wanted to spread her message more. And I'm just so glad she's going to be, like, she's working with me. Like today she sent me a thing this morning and said, is this all right to post? And she's going, being denied, and her accent, being denied insurance because you got cancer. Well, it's bollocks. I was like, you be you crack on.
I'll deal with the compliance, yeah.
Literally, literally you do you, and that's why, like with the group photos and things, like with Heidi, I know I don't need to reassure her that she can be herself, because she knows that I love her exactly.
Well, she wouldn't do it anyway if you weren't. Do you know what I mean? It's not even in her DNA to do that.
No, and I just love everything she is. Whereas, like, obviously, the ladies who have just started, like, who not have just started, but the ones who haven't been in the industry or don't know me in terms of working, I want them to make sure that they feel comfortable and feel completely at ease with doing what they want to do, and knowing that exactly as they are is good enough. There's nothing worse than starting somewhere and being made to feel as if, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, or you can't do that, you can't do this. Like, obviously there's a level. I'm not going to tell them to go topless and start saying buy insurance. Like, there's a line, obviously, but within reason. You just make it however you feel comfortable doing it. So, like, they're saying, like, can we not just, can you not just give us, like, things that we need to say? And I'm like, absolutely not. There's not a chance I'm telling you what to say or do, because it won't be genuine. And I never ever agree with that. Like, you need to be genuine, do what you want. So yeah, so it was a big success, and it's just made us all, I don't know, I think feel a lot more comfortable with each other, and it's like started off on a really good note, because it was an absolute piss take, but it ended up being a really big success from it. So
I love it. I love it. It's really, really great. This is another long episode, this one. It's all good. So next episode, we're going to talk about what next quarter looks like, because that's what you want to talk about. So we're going to dive into that one. But any parting words before we end this one?
Oh, there's a lovely quote, and I know it's corny, but there's a lovely quote about Dr. Seuss. I love that quote. No, there's no one younger than you. There's no one younger than you. And it goes on a bit more, but literally look up that quote and read it. And whenever I feel like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, I just always read that and think, there's nobody younger than you, and that's good enough as it is. So yeah,
I love that quote. Younger than you. I'm going to find it, because I used to do that when I was. It's
put it on my kids' playroom.
Yeah.
Like,
today you are you. Here we go. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who's more you than you.
Literally that. That's
I love it. It's a really, really great